everybody, and welcome to our March edition of Price Know-How Snippets. For those of you not familiar with our snippets, this is where we try to get pertinent information to you as early as we can at the start of the month and talk about the factors that are likely to affect polymer price and availability. In this edition, we're going to talk about ethylene and propylene, and I'm going to hand over to Mike Boswell, our Managing Director, who's going to talk to you about what's happened to crude oil pricing and naphtha.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Price Know-How Snippets. Clearly, we're in an evolving situation with regard to the Russian invasion of Ukraine, and that's having a big impact in terms of crude oil prices. In February, we saw prices jump up by around about £53 per tonne. And as I sit here before you today, on March the 2nd, we're seeing prices approaching or just actually exceeded today $113 per barrel. And the expectation is that with the evolving situation and the potential pressure on supply of energy, that oil prices will continue to go forward. And naphtha prices are basically tracking crude oil prices as we speak today. So that's really interesting. I'm now going to hand over to Ian, who's going to talk about how naphtha and oil prices are impacting through into monomer prices, and then what we expect in terms of polymer prices for March.
Thanks very much, Mike. So with the increased oil costs and the subsequent increased cost in naphtha, and possibly also of more importance is the potential shortage of naphtha within Europe, we have seen fairly significant increases in monomers going in from February into March, and both C3 propylene and C2 ethylene have hit new record highs. So they both increased by €95. That's approximately £80 a tonne increases. However, it remains to be seen as to whether or not this is going to be fully passed through into polymer prices in March. As we saw in February, we had very similar increases in the levels of monomers, and this was not passed through into the polymer price. And in fact, in some cases, there was some slight softening of pricing. This is driven by supply and demand dynamics. So if the demand is not there, then the prices will not be in a position to increase. Initially, in the first early days of March, we've seen most of the major producers asking for monomer or monomer plus €30 increases. So the biggest increase request we've seen so far is €125. However, most seem to be asking for the €95 increase. If demand remains weak and if supply remains okay, which is not certain, then prices may soften slightly from this €95 increase, maybe somewhere in the region of £50 to £60 a tonne increases. But it's a very, very dynamic situation, and we'll have to wait and see what happens. Thanks very much.
Thanks very much, Ian. We appreciate that it's really early in the month to be trying to get this information out to you. As both Mike and Ian have said, the situation's evolving very rapidly, so it's yet to be clear what will happen in terms of particularly supply and demand. But more information will be available when we issue our full Price Know-How report later in the month. Thanks very much.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.